Hello there, Reddita here. Welcome to, well, the video I guess. If you enjoy it, like and subscribe, maybe even hit that bell. Now, it's time to go back to Am I the Bungholio and find some goodies. Enjoy. Am I the Bungholio? Am I the Bungholio for telling my mother that it's her own fault she'll never get biological children? Not the a-hole. Edit, just noticed the error in the title. Grandchildren. I'm in my early 30s. I got my first period when I was 9 years old, and they've always been gruesome. More blood than anyone could ever imagine. Cramping so bad that I had to miss school and couldn't eat or drink or do anything because the pain was so bad. In my mother's eyes, I was a faker, making things up for attention or to get out of tests. She refused to take me to see doctors or anything. I wasn't even allowed pain meds. Well, when I moved in with my then boyfriend at 27, he convinced me to go see a doctor because that wasn't healthy, and I did. I later got diagnosed with a rare reproductive issue, vague for privacy, that essentially could have been fixed if caught earlier. But it wasn't. The issue had gone on for long enough that the damage was pretty almost irreparable. In the end, I was basically given the choice of surgery A, which would leave me infertile with less complications and a lower fatality rate, or surgery B, which would leave me fertile but with a higher risk of complications/death due to the severity of my issue. I chose surgery A. I can no longer have biological children. My then boyfriend and I are now married, and we are looking into other options to have a child. We are heavily leaning towards adoption, and I confided in my mother about this. Big mistake. She started scolding me and basically told me that I had to have biological children. She told me if I didn't have bio kids then I was a failure of a woman, and how dare you let the bloodline die, or something like that. She told me that if we adopted, then she would do everything in her power to make me and my husband look like terrible people so it fails. And, the icing on the cake, she told me that I should just reverse the surgery. I can't do that. It's physically impossible. It's not like getting my tubes tied. I literally no longer have a uterus or ovaries or any of it. There is no way to reverse this surgery. I went off on her. I explained that, and I explained that if she were a competent parent who actually did her job, then I wouldn't be infertile. I explained that if she had taken me to see doctors sooner, I wouldn't have to consider adoption. I called her a terrible mom and a terrible person, and I told her that if I ever do adopt a child, she would never get to meet them. She went silent and then hung up. Hasn't said a word to me since. But now every woman in my family is calling me a useless biznacho and a horrible daughter. Even family I haven't seen since I was a baby. Now I'm wondering if I went too far or something. Reddit, am I the Bungholio? Edit, something several people have brought up now is how come I didn't go to the doctor before I was 27. For 9 years my mom told me that I was overreacting, and that I was a faker, and that what I was going through was normal. I was just overreacting. That kind of conditioning is really hard to get over, and for a long time my mom was the only woman in my life who was actually aware of periods and things. Sure, if it gone earlier, my condition likely wouldn't have been as bad, but I still would have suffered. Honest to God, I had no one in my life to tell me that my symptoms were absolutely not normal until I moved in with my husband. He witnessed firsthand what one of my periods looked like and told me that if I didn't go to see a doctor, he'd drag me to one by my belt loops. My point is, I never went to see a doctor before I was 27 because I was brainwashed into thinking I was overdramatic. Edit 2. Wow, this got a lot more attention than I thought it would. So, I'm gonna comment on some stuff. 1. Thanks for the awards. 2. To everyone wishing me well, thank you so much. I appreciate all the kind words. 3. To all the women and men who've had to deal with undiagnosed health problems and or toxic families, my heart bleeds for all of you. I hope the best for all of your life situations. 4. If you think you have a medical issue, especially if you're female, stick to it. Go to a doctor, 2 doctors, 5 doctors. Find someone who will listen to you. Admittedly, I struck gold in that my doctors actually listened to me and were speedy about diagnosing me, but many aren't. Remember, you know your body better than anyone, And if something is wrong, push the issue. 5. I'm going to look into therapy. I feel like I absolutely could benefit from it. This post and some of the comments are making me consider some of my mother's behavior through my life, and I really need to think things over about her and my plans going forward. I'm considering limited contact unless she can prove she deserves otherwise. 6. Yes, my husband is amazing and I'm so lucky to have him. 7. I've messaged most of my extended family explaining to them my side of the story. Most haven't seen the message yet, but the majority of the ones who have read it have apologized to me for not asking my side of the story first. 8. Should I have gone to the doctor before age 27? Yes. Would it have lessened the severity of my issue? Most likely. Why didn't I? Because my mother gaslit me. I fully accept that I should have gone. But I didn't because of her actions in my teenage years. I consider her at least half to blame in this aspect. 9. Do I think I'm an asshole? Now, no. When I wrote this, and before, of course I did. Half my family was bullying me. Sue me. Am I the bunghalio for ruining a family dinner after my father-in-law joked that my Asian relatives might eat my dog? Not the bunghole. So this past weekend my husband and I went to see our in-laws after months of lockdown. It was just the 4 of us for dinner at their home. Anyways, I'm mixed race and mom is Chinese. I was showing a picture of my mom's side of the family having hot pot and saying that once the pandemic is over my aunt and uncle from Shanghai want to visit us and we would have really authentic hot pot at home. Well, as we start discussing what hot pot is, my father-in-law chimes in with a row, well, you better make sure to keep bottles, my dog, in your sight on hot pot night. I was like, what do you mean? And he joked about how there's no fresher meat around than my living dog, and we all know how those people can't resist eating dogs. I'm in shock and argued back that no one in my family is going to eat my fornicating elderly dog when they visit, but both my mother-in-law / father-in-law just laugh and says it's a joke, and my husband just rolls his eyes, gives me a shrug, but he laughs too. This is where I may be tar. I was just super fornicating mad, and the more I thought about it the madder I got, so I eventually got up and said thanks for the dinner, but I think I need to leave now, and started gathering my things. My husband is like, whoa, hold on, but I was basically out the door. We then had a mini argument by the car, where I said I don't care, I just want to go home, and my husband eventually agreed, and we drove home together. The next morning he was super pissed off at me and said I acted like a child on a tantrum. I felt a little guilty, but also still pretty mad that he didn't even think to defend me. Am I the bunghalio? Whoa, you made it to the end? Nice. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe and like. I'm a new channel, and it helps a lot more than you think. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.